Hello team, welcome back to Tribe Course Session 3. So looking at the warm-up, it's going to be the same as the past two sessions. So we're going to be doing 2 rounds of 30 seconds of each. So posterior lunges, hinge twists, pike planks, prone raises, lateral squats, and Everest steps. I still have the explanations of all those exercises after this portion of the video, so feel free to look at those. Posterior lunge. The exercise looks like this. So, for the posterior lunge, the main benefit is total body integration, high metabolic demand, as well as hip stability and mobility. So for this exercise, you're going to be standing in that nice tall tribe ready stance. You're going to be stepping back with that leg, stepping back, bending 90-degree angles in the front and the back, standing up nice and tall, coming back to the start position and going to the other side. For the rep count, left and right is 1 for this exercise. Some common faults is excessive lumbar flexion, so leaning over, as well as the hips through that frontal plane. Also, allowing that knee to come past the ankle or internally rotate in. So for this exercise, some cues you want to think about is staying nice and tall, spine nice and long, making sure that you keep those hips parallel to the floor. As you step back, you're going to make sure nice alignment through that knee and ankle to the front leg, as well as driving off the heel in that front leg to come back to that start position. The way you can progress and regress this one is through that range of motion and speed. And that is the posterior lunge. Hinge twists. The exercise looks like this. So, the main benefit of the hinge twist is that movement preparation as well as thoracic mobility and hip stability. So, you're going to be in that tribe ready stance, sitting back in those hips nice off knees, allowing that right arm to go to that left knee, and then opening up, having your eyes follow, and then going to the other side. So for this one, every time you do left and right is 1 repetition. Some common faults is excessive flexion or extension. So you're going to make sure that you keep the long spine, shoulders away from the ears, keeping your hips in that neutral position. And the way you're going to progress and regress this movement preparation exercise is through range of motion. How far can you open up? How far over can you twist? It's really up to you. You should be progressing though as you go through it. And that is the hinge twist. Pike plank. The exercise looks like this. So for the pike plank, the main benefit is shoulder and hip stability, mobility, as well as strengthening through that anterior core and lengthening through that posterior chain. So your start position is going to be in that nice strong plank position. You're going to have your hands shoulder width apart, shoulders over those palms, core nice and tight. Then you're going to lift up those hips, tapping same toe, same arm, just tapping that toe, and then coming back down to that start position to that plank. So every time you bring your hips up to that pike is 1 repetition. Some common faults for this one is shoulders shrugging or be elevated or excessive lumbar extension. So in that plank position, allowing those hips to fall. So you're gonna make sure you have your shoulders away from your ears, nice long, spine core nice and tight, driving those heels into the floor, tapping back and coming back to that start position. The way you can progress and regress this one is through load, so time under tension, as well as your range of motion. Prone raises. The exercise is going to look like this. So for the prone raises, the main benefit is going to be that shoulder and hip stability as well as control and strengthening through the posterior core. So for the start position, you're going to be on your knees and your hands on the floor. So you're going to have those hands and those dumbbells for the exercise, and you're going to make sure that core is nice and tight. You're then going to bring up that left arm, dumbbell facing up, bringing that foot up, and then coming back down to that start position and doing the same thing on the opposite side. So left and right is the rep count is 1 repetition for this exercise. Some common faults for this one is going to be that lumbar extension, so allowing those hips to roll forward, also shrugging of the shoulders if you're trying to lift that weight up. So maybe think about what weight you're using. If you feel that you're trying to throw the weight up, or you feel your shoulders are compromising your form in that exercise. So for this, you want to make sure you keep a nice long spine, shoulders away from the ears, creating tension through that midsection for this exercise. So the way you can progress and regress this is through load and range of motion. And that's the prone raises. Lateral squats. The exercise looks like this. So, for the lateral squats, the main benefit is total body integration as well as high metabolic demand, as well as hip mobility and stability and shoulder mobility. So for the start position, you're going to be facing your path of travel, except it's going to be your shoulder facing that path of travel. You're going to be stepping out laterally, having those elbows go towards those hips or towards those knees. Then you're going to be bringing that foot in, bringing those arms up above the head, and then stepping out again for the other repetition, moving down that path of travel. So for the rep count, it is distance traveled. However, you want to make sure that you do half on one side and then half on the other side. So some common faults for this one is very similar to what you would see in a squat. So either rolling those knees in, excessive lumbar flexion for this exercise, not bringing your arms up above the head. So you want to think about nice tall spine, leading with those hips, thinking about squeezing those glutes, pushing those knees out, bring those arms up, keeping those shoulders away from the ears for this exercise. The way you can progress and regress this one is through speed and range of motion. And that is the lateral squat. Everest step. The exercise looks like this. So for the Everest step, the main benefit is that hip mobility. So to start this position, you're going to be in that nice strong plank position, shoulders over palms on those toes. You're then going to bring that right foot to that right hand, planting it, opening up through those hips, and then going back to that start position, and then going to that opposite side. So every time you do left and right for this exercise is 1 repetition. Some common faults for this one is not keeping that nice long spine, shrugging through the shoulders. So you're going to make sure you stay nice and tall, keeping those hips square to the floor, not allowing yourself to roll over to one side. So the progression and regression for this one is range of motion, and that is the Everest step. Okay, get your timers ready, and we're going to start the warm-up sequence. 3, 2, 1, and go. Nice work, team. So hopefully you guys are feeling warm. So for today's workout, the training objective is to use an ascending and descending volume formula designed to continue focusing on muscles that support the function of the spine, along with muscles that stabilize the hips and shoulders. So for the formula, there are 6 stations with 3 formulas. Station 1, you're going to perform 25 seconds of dumbbell single deadlift row. So half on the left, half on the right, followed by 5 seconds rest. Then 25 seconds of Everest steps, followed by 5 seconds rest. Then 25 seconds of posterior lunges, followed by 5 seconds rest. Then doing that all 3 times. You'll allow 30 seconds rest and advance to station 2. So station 2 shares the same formula as station 1, using different exercises, time frame, and rest period. And you'll be doing that for 2 times through. Allow 30 seconds rest and advance to station 3. Station 3, you're going to perform 60 seconds of each exercise listed twice. Allow 60 seconds rest, advance to station 4. Station 4, 5, and 6. All those stations share the same exercises as stations 1, 2, and 3 respectively. This time, however, the formulas are in reverse. Allow 30 seconds rest between each station. Once the stations are complete, move straight to the mobility sequence. Now let's look at the 2 new exercises for today, toe taps and split presses. Toe taps. The exercise is going to look like this. So for the toe taps, the main benefit is strengthening through that interior core as well as hip stability. So for this, the start position is going to be laying on your back, palms facing up, and then you're going to bring those feet up, creating a hook position with your feet. You're then going to allow one leg to come down, tapping the floor, and then coming back to that start position, and then allowing yourself to do the same thing on the opposite side. So for this, left and right is 1 repetition. Some common faults for this is excessive lumbar extension, so allowing yourself to leave that neutral position. So you're going to think about bracing through that tummy, keeping that core nice and tight. Also, having those palms down, maybe pushing forward or rolling through the shoulders. So some cues is palms up, gauging through that core, nice and tight, nice controlled movement, coming down with that toe tap. The way you can progress and regress this exercise is through load. The split press, the exercise looks like this. So the main benefit of the split press is shoulder mobility and stability, as well as hip mobility and stability, and strengthening through that lateral core. So for this position, you're going to be in that 90-90 lunge, so 90 in the front, 90 in the back. Once you begin, you'll tuck that toe, and you'll have that dumbbell in that front rack position. As you press off that back foot, then driving through the front heel, you're going to be pressing that dumbbell overhead, and then coming back down to that start position. So for the repetition count here, every time you press overhead is 1 repetition. However, whatever you do on the left, you must do on the right. And so for the common faults for this exercise, some internally rotating or bring that knee in, as well as bringing that knee past that front toe. So you make sure you stay up nice, stacked, nice long spine. Another common fault is lumbar flexion or extension or raising of the shoulders. So for this one, you want to make sure that you think about keeping your shoulders back away from the ears, keeping a nice long spine, making sure you keep your hips parallel to the floor. And then for this one, the progression and regression is going to be the load as well as range of motion. Okay team, before you begin, make sure you review and practice each exercise a few times before starting each station, especially those new ones I just went over. Also have your stopwatch or timer ready, whichever best suits you, because you'll definitely need it. So get everything ready, because we're going to begin in 3, 2, 1, and go. Nice work team, hopefully you guys got a great workout. So we're going to go into the mobility sequence for 4 minutes. If any of these exercises you're unsure of, stay tuned because I'm going to go over them again. If you're ready to go, you can start in 3, 2, 1, and go. Hip openers. The exercise is going to look like this. So for the hip openers, it's going to be a movement preparation as well as hip mobility. So for this, your start position is you're going to be in that chart ready stance with your back facing the path of travel. So then you're going to bring that left knee up in line with that left hip, externally draw a circle back, stepping down, and then starting with that other leg for this motion. So the rep count for this is going to be for distance traveled or time, just depending on the workout or what's prescribed in the workout. So some common faults for this exercise is loss of control or stability. So you want to make sure that you stay up nice and tall, bring that knee up, stay nice and stable, and stepping back. The way you can progress and regress this exercise is through range of motion. And that is the hip openers. Hinge twists. The exercise looks like this. So the main benefit of the hinge twist is that movement preparation as well as thoracic mobility and hip stability. So you're going to be in that tried ready stance, sitting back in those hips, nice soft knees, allowing that right arm to go to that left knee, and then opening up, having your eyes follow, and then going to the other side. So for this one, every time you do left and right is 1 repetition. Some common faults is excessive flexion or extension. So you're going to make sure that you keep the long spine, shoulders away from the ears, keeping your hips in that neutral position. And the way you're going to progress and regress this movement preparation exercise is through range of motion. How far can you open up? How far over can you twist? It's really up to you. You should be progressing though as you go through it. And that is the hinge twist. Kneeling open sagittal. The exercise looks like this. So for this exercise, the main benefit is movement preparation as well as hip mobility and shoulder mobility and working through that frontal plane. So you're going to begin by starting at that 90-degree angle in the knees, both knees. For this exercise, shoulders down away from the ears. You're then going to fluidly move those hips forward, bringing that left arm up and then coming back down to that start position. So start position to start position is one repetition. Everything you do on the left, you must do on the right. For this, some common cues or common faults is excessive lumbar extension and flexion. So you want to think about keeping that nice long spine. That extension is coming through that hip, not that lumbar, that back. Bringing up that arm, keeping that shoulder though down and back away from the ears as you do that motion. So for the progression and regression, it is range of motion. Cross rolls. The exercise is going to look like this. And then you perform on the other side. So, for cross rolls, the main benefit is a movement preparation exercise as well as hip mobility and lengthening through those lateral lines. So you're going to be, to start this position, you're going to be sitting on the floor, sitting up nice and tall, hands on the floor. You're then going to cross that left leg over that right leg. You're then going to roll and initiate that movement to that same side that your leg is on top. So we're going to go to the left here. Think about pushing your knees away, so it's going to be lengthening through those lateral lines of that bottom leg, and then coming back to that start position. So for the rep count here, from start position to start position is one repetition. However, everything you do on one side, you must do on the other side. Some common faults here is shoulder shrugging, rounding up the back, loss of control. So for this, some cues, you want to make sure that you're sitting up nice and tall, shoulders away from the ear, nice long spine, chest up, and allowing yourself to stay seated on your booty throughout the entire exercise. And the progression and regression for this one is range of motion. So really only go to where your range is. If it's here, if it's down here, whatever works for you, it will progress over time in this exercise.